Rockefeller, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing to the world. Rockefeller, your New World Order will never come in. You're running out of time. Scumbag, you've rushed it. You screwed up. You're not going to stop the Irish, Rockefeller, you scumbag. We are the Irish. We know what you're up to, Rockefeller. It's all going to come tumbling down. Rockefeller, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing to the world. Rockefeller, your New World Order will never come in. You're running out of time. Scumbag, you've rushed it. You screwed up time. Scumbag, you've rushed it. You screwed up, running out of time.
Shalom.
So yeah, you got the Georgia Guidestones, that, the Illuminati, the New World Order, basically states maintaining humanity under 500 million, right? And perpetual balance with nature, right? But you can't prove that there was only 500 million people on the planet, like in the time of Noah or something. That would have been like a perfect balance or something like that. But that can't be, because, or else the world would have been off balance a long time ago prior to that. So that's a false accusation by the so-called elites. But they figure they'll be able to control that many people on a lot easier scale, right? Yeah, so this is a thing that has 4 pillars, I think 8 different languages, and somebody went and spray painted over it, said death to the globalists, right? Which I think it's the elite. They did this, right? Because it's that time, right? Control opposition, right? But at the same time, like the brother was saying, they are gonna not have enough time, in a sense, right? Because though all the prophecies have to happen, but it's just a thing. When you rush things, what do they say? You make mistakes. So, and you can see they made mistakes on the whole thing with the shooting in Jersey. They put 4 different shooters. The first couple, they had a couple, and said these were the people who shot and killed the people in the store. Then they turned around and had a whole nother different suspect. And I did a lesson on that, and I wish I had all the things, but I don't have everything now. But they did have 2 different suspects on that, right? So they were sloppy with it. Yeah, maintaining humanity under 500 million means they would have to kill 7.5 billion people, right? Because there's technically about almost 8 billion people on the planet now. So if you think that they care to tell you that there's a variant and there's another variant, and that we care about your public health, we care about humanity, well, this is from the elite here, right? Yeah, that guy was screaming that he's the Irish, right? And this is Negro Question Part 4, Missing Links, right? And that's King James, which is a so-called black man, right? Which is King James, and his son, which is King Charles, which was known as Black Boy, right? Which they ruled over Scotland Ireland, and Britain, right? We ruled Europe for over 1,000 years, right? And this is during the last bit of the strongholds before Esau took complete power over in Europe, right? This is during the time just before 1611, when King James gave the authorization for the Bible to be broken down from Greek and Hebrew into English, right? He didn't write the Bible, he gave the authorization, and there was people who broke it down. They didn't change the wording or anything. They put it in from Hebrew and Greek into English, right? And in this book, you know that King James, it tell you that he kept the Passover, that his name James is actually synonymous with Jacob, and they were the Jacobites, and they were commandment keepers, and they kept the Sabbaths and the Passovers, right? So this lets you know that these elites of their time of Europe, of the so-called or self-proclaimed black man or African American, right? Because these are titles or things that you either wanted to put upon yourself or your oppressor put that on you. But in reality, you are Israelites, right? And everybody who came on slave ships didn't all come from Africa, right? But this is why the guy, so he could be an Israelite foreigner who phenotype may look like another nation, but his bloodline goes back to what? To the original Irish, right? Which some people will call them black, but the original Irish are Israelites. Yeah. Okay, Revelation chapter 17, verse 10, right? Because the guy who was speaking, he said he's the Irish. When you, like I said, I was showing you the Irish, right, goes back to Israel, Jacobites, right? They kept the commandment, they kept the Passover, they kept the Sabbaths, right? King James was a so-called black man who, like I said, James actually goes into Jacob. So, as you very well know, right? So, guy was prophesying basically. So, though his phenotype looked like another nation, like a self-proclaimed white man, he definitely, most likely, could be an Israelite, right? Because what? Israel ruled that land. So he could be one of those, the seed line goes back to Israel, because it definitely was prophesying, right? It says, going into 10, verse 10, and there are 7 kingdoms and 5 are fallen, right? Dealing with what is it? Portugal, Spain, France, the Netherlands, and England, right? Those are the 5 kingdoms or whatever, or kings who were over here. And one is, right, which because end up ruling over what they call the New World, right? And the other is not yet come, right? Dealing with America. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, right? And the beast, which is England, that was and is not yet, even he is the 8th and is of the seventh, right? The eighth, but coming out of the seventh, which America came out of England. So it's the eighth that came out of the seventh and goeth into perdition, because what? America is going to be turned into a desert by ICBM missiles and the angels with concentrated laser fires from the chariots, what they eagerly call unidentified flying phenomenons, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 3. And I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, which is talking about Rome, right? And his deadly wound was healed, right, through NATO, EU, and America, right? Because they made the European Union, right? They made the NATO treaty, right, with those nations dealing with Spain, Portugal, France, England, and the Netherlands, right? As a pack, as a world superpower, right? Basically saying it's the European Union. I mean the Roman treaty, which is the European Union is the Roman treaty, which the NATO part, right, it goes into their military might, which lets you know that they were Rome, Salakia. Right. Stemming off from what, England to America, and then them making that pact. I think it was in the 50s, right? It says and they worship the dragon, which is dealing with Rome, which was given power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast, right? And a lot of people say, who is like America? America got this great military, all this money, and see, but that's not so anymore. Who is able to make war with him, right? With the European Unions, or with NATO, with their their super PAC that they have to make a world power. Well, that's not so anymore, right? And there was given him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemings, and power was given unto him to, this is the main part I was trying to get to, continue 42 months, right? Which is a short space, right? And he opened his mouth in blaspheming against Yahweh, to blaspheme against his name, right? Calling him Jehovah, calling him Christ. Well, he's calling his son Christ, calling him Jehovah, calling him Yahweh. Those are blasphemies. You know what I mean? And there's a lot worse things that they said against the Most High, but that's just, to give you, that's a blasphemy, because the Lord's name is Yahweh, and his only begotten son's name is Yahweh Shai. So they, and against his tabernacle, which are the Israelites, and them that dwell on the earth, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints, which are the Israelites. It's not everybody in the world. The only way to be a saint is to be an Israelite, and to overcome them and power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, right? But the main point was that I was getting to was verse 5, which it said it was also given to him a short space, right? NATO, EU, and America, it was only giving them a short space. They having the European Union and naming it the Roman treaty proves that they know that they're Rome, right? Stemming off from Rome, which the one that was, which was England, and the one that was not, but yet to come, that came out of the seven, which is America. And that's how we know that what? America's Babylon the Great. It says it right here, the Treaty of Rome, right? Or EEC Treaty brought about the creation of the European Economic Community, right? The best known of the European communities, right? The treaty was signed on 25th of March 1957 by what? By Berlin, France, Italy, Luxembourg, right? Netherlands, and West Germany, right? Who the America has linked themselves up with as far as NATO, and it came into force on the 1st of January of 1958, right? So America's linking themselves up, which we know they're all Edomites. So these Edomites know that they're Rome, right? So right here is the U.S. part of NATO. It says NATO has added new members 8 times, right? Since it foundation in 1949, right? Right. A lot of other things happened around 1948, 49, right? Dealing with the Balfour Declaration, with a current total of 30 members. 12 countries took part in founding of NATO: Berlin, Canada, Denmark, France, right? Which France is one of those other countries that know that they're the Roman treaty, right? It says Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg. Luxembourg is one of those ones that part of the Roman treaty, right? Netherlands is part of the Roman treaty, right? Norway, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and the United States. So these are people who are connecting themselves to these people who know that they're the Romans, right? Through the military power, like I said, NATO, EU, and America, right? We're dealing with the beast, and the one that came out of the beast, which is America. Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, right? Because the elites had their time to rule, so they're enjoying themselves, But the Lord's telling them that because what? They're only going to rule but a short space. And ye that dwell in them, right? Woe, which means weeping, gnashing of teeth, which means death. Death, weeping, and gnashing of teeth, which is woe to the inhabitants of the earth, right? Because there's going to be a lot of death on earth, which how it is now. The Lord said, the slain of the Lord shall be many. The Lord said that he shall have, the dead should be from one end of the earth even unto the other. And that's what you're having now through this Crown 119, right? Crown Vicky. Woe unto the inhabitants, which means, death, destruction, weeping, gnashing of teeth on the earth, and of the sea, which sea goes into people too. For the devil, right, which is your adversary, which is the self-proclaimed white man, is come down unto you, having great wrath, right, through the international bankers, through the Rothschilds, the Bilderberg, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, going into the international bankers, the one who created the NATO and the EECs and all these governments, is coming down with great wrath because he know that he got what a short time. You know what I mean? So that's going into that. Yeah, this is Luke chapter 10 verse 18. And he said unto them, who said unto them? Yahushua said unto them, right? And maybe I'll go up. It says, and the 70th returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subjected unto us through thy name, right? And he said, right, the Lord, Yahushua said unto them, I beheld, which means feast your eyes upon, look and paid attention, Satan, which goes into devil, which means your adversary, which is the self-proclaimed so-called white man, as lightning fell down from heaven, right? So that's how fast Satan is going to come down from heaven, which is what their rulership on earth. They're no longer going to be in rulership on earth. It's not actually talking about the devil, the spiritual demon Satan, right, which actually works for the Lord, right, which is actually a son of God. If you go into the scriptures, when he says the sons of God was present and Satan was with them, it's basically saying Satan is a son of God. So it's not talking about the actual spiritual demon Satan or Lucifer, right? It's talking about the self-proclaimed white man. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How are thus fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, right? Son of the morning, right? How are thus cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations. And so when you go into that, it's showing that what? He got but a short time. Just the same thing. The Lord says he came down like lightning. You got but a short time to rule, which Lucifer goes into what? The Illuminati. They're the ones that's enlightened, because it means the light bearers. They're the ones who know, because it tells you about how the earth is in gross darkness. And the only one, the true Lucifers or the true Illuminati would be the elect men of the Lord, of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? But on the left hand side, the Lord deals with balance, and the elites have light. But a lot of you that's getting your becoming a pincushion, right, for the elites, are in darkness. You don't know nothing. So it says, Lucifer, light bearer, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, right? King of Babylon, right? Which the king of Babylon right now would be Biden, Joe Biden, which is not even him really, because the international bankers is what run this. All these so-called presidents and these what they call prime ministers are all puppets. They just there. The elite allows them to rule. All right. Let's see what this one is. To the root. Yeah. Means to shine. So yeah. Basically dealing with them and their rulership and them having some type of knowledge of what's going on. But they're ruling but what a short space, because how are thus cut down from heaven, which is their rulership. O Lucifer, son of the morning, how are thus cut down to the ground, right? Which is cutting them off, which did weaken the nations. And the self-proclaimed white man has went around the world weakening nations. Yeah, so this is Job 20 and 22. So kind of like Apostle Har was saying, it don't make sense that he's not going to have enough time, because all the prophecies have to come to pass. Which is true. All the prophecies are going to come to pass. But I believe it's like he's not going to have enough time, because he know that he had but a short time. And he's going to rush everything. And then, as you see, a lot of people are not falling for the okie doke like they would have years ago. A lot of people are, I guess it did say the last days that knowledge shall increase. But not just only knowledge increase. They're rushing things too. Like I was saying, when they did the thing with the daily and trying to say that the black identity crisis people done it, right? They put up two different they put up two different pictures for suspects. And that's in rushing and you know what I'm saying? And just doing something, you know what I mean? So, that's why the Lord said, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, right? And going to be straits, which means a level of difficulty. He's going to be going through trouble himself. Every hand of the wicked, right? Dealing with, and this ain't talking about Esau the wicked. It's talking about the people. Matter of fact, I should have went into that. Right here, he adds the blue letter again. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall be upon him. And let's go into that wicked, because Esau is known as the wicked, right? And this wicked is actually talking about something different.
Strong's H 6001. A male. A male.
A male, right? Which means laborer, sufferers, right? And in the whole world, right? It says they are the ones that did weaken the nations, plural. So the sufferers, starting with the Israelites, but the other nations suffered too. The other were laborers or workmen, right? Also too. But the main point is the Lord cares about the Israelites. And then after that, he cares about what was fair. And those are still unjust things that you did to other men. Right? Let's get back to it. Job 20 and 23. And it says, when he is about right? Because that's going into he don't got enough time, or he's rushing things, and it's like he don't have enough time. Because when he is about to fill his belly, right? When everything's about to be in full subjection unto Esau, when it's like right at your fingertips, almost everything he ever wanted is going to be like it's right there. It's going to be like there's nothing could stop him. Nothing could, you know what I mean? It's almost like you're doing a race and you're about to walk across the finish line, and you're right. The finish line is right in front of you, and you feel like, well, nothing could stop me from crossing this finish line. And you have a heart attack and die before before ever crossing the finish line. That's kind of like that. You know what I mean? That's why the Lord said, you fools trying to store up things, you fool, your life is required, right? When a rich man has all these earthly, and then he try to store it up, figuring he can enjoy it later or whatever. You fools, your life is required now. Which says when he is about to fill his belly, right? Which is but a short time. You're going to rule but a short time. Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating, while everything seemed good, right when everything is going according to plan. In the midst of everything going according to plan, the Lord is going to throw a monkey wrench in their whole plan, and it's going to be cut short. Yeah, so call Lawyum Yahweh Basham Yahushai, Basham Rakal Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim and the Four Winds, right? Who was out there preaching in truth and sincerity, and to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel. Shalom. Thank you for coming back to the fold. To the sister Akwaf, listening and learning. Shalom, and death to America.